Hey YouTube, what's going on? We're talking Necronomicons again, so got some new stuff coming out. So, let's hit the intro, and let's look at some Necros.
Behold, my stuff.
Alright, so, what is new in the world of Necronomicons? I know what you're thinking, Evil Dead Rise. No, we're not talking Evil Dead Rise just yet. I know what you're thinking. New cover from Kurt? No new cover from Kurt. But two different builders who I have not worked with before. That's not true. I've worked with one of them. Put out some new stuff. I don't want to go over it. So the first thing we're going to go over, there's a new 2013 out. So this 2013 is by horror show art. Guy's name's Jack, and I saw him sculpting this in the Knights of Samaria, and I immediately was very interested because I didn't have a 2013, and to be honest with you, I hadn't encountered any fan-made ones that I really liked. Jack did a great job with this. So if we go really in here on the detail, first things first, you will see right away that, now granted, I have painted this, so some of this detail is deliberately enhanced, but you'll see that he got a really nice job with the wrinkles in the upper triangle panel, and he's got the pockmark from the one that was on display. That was one of the hero books, and that was utilized. Has a little bit more of a yellowish tinge now, but that one was on display in California in the Evil Dead Museum. And so that, plus the famous shot from the movie, which is what I based this color scheme off of, is what Jack used to establish what this is going to look like. Now, he sells these in raw covers, and they have some fold over. And so I've gone in and done the fold over and done the corners. And what we are left with is the need to stitch all this by hand, which is a royal pain in the ass. And then once you've done that, paint it and fill it in to colorize your liking. Now, what I essentially went for was what the movie showed, which was kind of like a pigskin look. Not really like a leather look or like a football, but just sort of like what you imagine like dead pigs hanging in a butcher shop look like in film, like in Saw and things like that. That seemed to be the paint job they went for. There was a lot of airbrushed, sort of what I call Vorlon pattern, where there was just a lot of loops and hoops and things that are connected to each other very subtly with like black airbrush. I opted not to do that. I do have an airbrush. I could do it. I just didn't really felt like it was not really appropriate. It kind of did make the skin look diseased, which was kind of cool, but for the most part, this is a really, really well done piece. Now, I didn't go through and count like the stitches and things like that to see exactly how accurate it is. Size-wise, it is maybe not the full size a 2013 needs to be. You cannot print 8.5 by 11 pages and just throw them in this. You will have to get them cut. So this is smaller than 8.5 by 11, so you'll need to take that into account. But comparing it to, say, let's see here, Evil Dead 2. This is an Evil Dead 2 lineage, so you guys know that these generally carry, 5.25 by 7.5 or 7.25 by 5.5. You could put 6 by 8 in this, but it's bigger than the ED2, but it is smaller than AVED. And you know my AVEDs take just under 8.5 by 11. They're sized to what they're supposed to be in the show. So you can see that the sizing is between those two books. So if you're going to pick one up, you will not be able to just print a set of Elder Props 2013s and throw them in here. You will have to shrink them, you'll have to cut them. But, barring that, I think it's a fine size. It's a size that no other Necro matches, so it looks nice when I line them all up on my shelf. And like I said, it paints well. I really enjoyed making it. This was given to me, so I do appreciate that. Thank you for throwing this my way. It gets my full endorsement. I highly recommend doing it. The one thing that you may run into trouble with is that the seams were very, very thin. So what I ended up having to do was go in and sort of reinforce them with hot glue because they were tearing due to how thin the latex was. I did give that feedback to the maker, and they are making these thicker so that doesn't happen. So you should not run into the same problem. But if you do, once you seam it, fill the edges of what you're binding it around with some hot glue, and that'll just sit really nicely in there. You can fill it with more latex, but I don't like doing that. So yeah, really good 2013 Necronomicon. Just for shits and giggles, I downsized a full set of pages for me from my AVED, threw them in, and so it sits and looks really, really nice with that. Given how thick the spine is, you're really going to want to put about 200 pages into this book to make it look nice. They only did about 13 pieces of artwork for the 2013, so you're going to have a bunch of filler. If I had to make a recommendation, buy an H.P. Lovecraft book that's roughly this size, print out the 2013 pages you want, put them in the front, and then stick that whole set right in here. Bob's your uncle. So that's the 2013 by Horror Show Art. Forgive me for not knowing the exact handle. I know the maker. His name's Jack, J-A-K. So if you need it, he's in England. Hit him up. He's also going to be posting these in Knights of Samaria. You can get them there. The next one we're going to talk about is an Army of Darkness. So this is a raw pull of what the Army of Darkness looks like, and this is another one from Peyton Patron. I have shown you the burn book of ED1 from Peyton Patron, so it differs from the actual ED1. This is a really thick piece of latex, and Peyton's been making these since he was about 13. I believe he's in his 20s now, so he's been making things for a long time. We got a hold of some really high-end photographs of what Sam Raimi's actual book looks like. Sam's only Necronomicon in his possession from filming is the Army of Darkness book. This is a high-end image of Sam Raimi's Necronomicon book. Now you can see a lot of the latex is starting to show through and gunk up in Sam's particular book. But you can see there's just these hints of browns and yellows and things like that. And the film was so desaturated, it just comes off as super gray. But the typical N in the forehead, which I hate. The four horns, which were resin pieces added into it. And then these teeth on the bottom, because it had two mouths. Why, I don't know. So something else that we got to see because of Sam's book was what the spine looked like. So now we know what the spine looks like. So I sent this off to Peyton, and I said, can you make this? He took it way past that, and now we have a new book. So far, you may ask yourself, well, what about David Perkel's cover, Percolations, one of the first Necro prop makers? This is David's cover. So this has been painted by me. I've shown you guys this many times. It's my AOD. That's the spine. It's 10 by 12. You can see Sam's book right next to it. Sam's is a little bit squarer than what David made. David is slightly more rectangular. And overall, he did a really good job, but it's not perfect. He's got the four spots for the horns, but the horns are not included. There's no N, which I wanted, actually. And the mouth area, pretty close. So he did, it's a little wider than it should be. The nose looks great. The main details are there, but for the most part, David didn't have anything like this as a reference. He was working off of VHS and DVD back in the day. So this was really the only AOD that you could get that was worth your money. Well, now we've got a new one. And this is the debut of Peyton Patron's new AOD book. Now, first things first. We've got all four horns. No other AOD that has been released to the public has had that. The teeth look really good. They are included in the sculpt. They are latex. I've gone in and done a little bit of some of that white speckling like Sam's has, which is really just latex rot and exposure. But I did that really just to catch a lot of this highlight sculpt that he did. The big fun part is the spine. We know what the spine is. We know that it has these two serpents around another N. And so one thing that I always was curious about was what's the spine? And then the back, we've known what that looks like for a long time. This is a really good sculpt. This is a really good build. I have gone in and put in my blank set of pages that we saw Sam have in on display. So my AODs. And this is using artwork and text pages given to me by the art director of Army of Darkness. So it's as accurate as I can make it. If you're interested in getting a set of these pages for free, they're being developed by Elder Props, and Juan has put out a set, I believe, of these already. So check out Elder Props. He's been working through the same imagery that I have. But this is a fantastic new AOD. David Perkles is a little taller. David Perkles is a little wider, but not by much. Less than half an inch both ways. So you can put 8.5 by 11 pages in here with no problem. As you can see, it's blockier, and it's just kind of got, shall we say, a little bit more simplistic look to it. But where David's is very busy, which I like a lot. If you really get in here, you will notice that there is actually a lot more going on with this book than meets the eye. Initially, from far away, you're just going to see the pockmarks and stuff. But as you get really close, you can see it's got this gorgeous, like, elephant skin texture going on. And it's a really nice, thick spine. I mean, it's a very thick spine. That's both good and bad. It's going to require a lot of filler. I've got a random set of pages filling in this book because I'm going to cut a hole in it and make the portal. But it's a big, thick book. So if you want to pick one up for yourself, you could throw any thick textbook text in here if you wanted to. Maybe some type of theoretical physics book or something like that. Maybe like an advanced calculus or something that has like a lot of symbols. If you can find a nice big old textbook about alchemy, that would probably look really nice. But overall, you can just throw blank sketch paper in here and it's fine. But like I said, it's got some AOD pages in it, so at first open, it will look AOD-ish, and I haven't mounted them yet or anything with magnets or anything like that. But this is going to replace my old Perkle. I'll do something different with the Perkle. Haven't decided what yet. I might give it away. I don't know. But this is a really, 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 really nice sculpt. I like it a lot. I'm really lucky to have added both of these phenomenal new Necros into my collection. And with the advent of the 2013... I now have, with the addition of the 2013, I only have the Rise left, and then I've covered every official Necronomicon from Evil Dead. So we'll be working on that as soon as my vinyl comes in. But this is a gorgeous piece. This is a gorgeous piece. I like the 2013 film. Some people hate on it. I'm a fan, and I encourage people to support the 2013. And owning a Necronomicon from 2013 is not an embarrassing thing at all, and you're cool in my book if you pick one up. So, Horror Show Art, pick this up on Instagram or go to the Knights of Samaria, hit up Jack, get his copy. It's fantastic. And I really like Peyton Patron's new AOD. I know that he's already sold a bunch of these to people. Just go get it. Peyton Patron Sculpting on Instagram. Go get this cover while he's still making them. God knows how long he's going to do it. Yeah, this is a really nice Necronomicon. So this was originally his paint job, and then I went and zhuzhed it a little bit. That raw one I'm going to make up and do 100% my way, and we'll see the difference between the two and which one I like and which one I don't. And the one that I don't like, I'm actually going to gift to a friend of mine over at Ultra Effects Studios, who I think likes the AOD Necronomicon even more than I do. And so very, very happy to add this to my collection and make it my primary AOD book. I will be busting out the AOD costume for Halloween for a new photo shoot. I have some new stuff that I want to utilize. And now that I have a new book, this will definitely be in the photo shoot. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with that this Halloween. That is what I've got going on in terms of Army of Darkness, in terms of 2013. I'm actually working on sending some stuff out to clients, as I already told you. Yeah, it's busy, 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 busy. You'll notice I'm wearing the exact same thing as I was wearing in the Batman costume, or if you're watching this before that, you'll find that I'm wearing this again in the Batman costumes, because I filmed both of these in the same day, because I have very little time to do this. A lot going on at work, a lot going on with making books, got a lot of crap to do. So, without further ado, thank you very much. I appreciate all your time, and like I said, if you can't build it, you should buy it. If you can't buy it, you should build it. But sometimes when you do both, the results are phenomenal. Klaatu, Verata. No! What? I said your damn words. I did! Maybe I didn't say every single little syllable.